Hello everyone and welcome to my AOR Season 12 GP2 German highlights. And as you can see, we're in qualifying right now and we're on the soft compound tyres. And for Germany, obviously on the back of the 5th place at Hungary, confidence was high. And I was looking forward to this Grand Prix indeed, but the forecast for the race was going to be wet, so not the most confident conditions as we saw in Silverstone. So it's going to be interesting to see. But in qualifying right now, I didn't feel the best I didn't do a lot of running on the super soft compound tyre. So in this session, we ran both the soft and the super soft, but the super soft tyre I didn't do a lot of running on because I prepared for myself for one more of a dry race, and it wasn't to be. It wasn't a dry race whatsoever, and so I just basically went out for a run on the soft tyre. I think it's always important to get in some sort of rhythm round in qualifying, just to try and get used to the fuel. We actually are going purple right now when someone who's actually done Neon Dust who did a super soft run. So our time positive was actually really positive. We're 14s up, so actually we're going to do like a late 14, I think, or in the 15s at least, on the soft until I cut my corner. And that was that lap out of the way. So yeah, I basically, as is a theory of mine, that I think I'm over practicing and going into a race weekend, and I just literally spent a bit like I couldn't care anymore. And I just over practiced, and that was the main theory that I think is why I just struggle in qualifying and sometimes in the races. But here we go for our super soft run, and obviously it's much faster. But throughout the weekend, throughout the whole practice I was doing, turn 1 was such a hard corner to get right. It really split the braking zone here. Had lots of understeer, so I just had problems with the exit. And yeah, I'm purple, but it's just not that good. It just isn't at my best. So there's a lot of lessons that I can learn from this, and a lot of it was that I felt that on a Sunday I do a lot of my practice. A lot on the Sunday beforehand, so it means that I'm basically over practiced before the race, so I'm sort of like tired in a way, and I just don't really want to put in the full effort. So I think that does affect my performances a little bit, and the way I can do that now, because now I'm a full-time driver, which is a big announcement. Also, now I've got a full-time seat at Williams now for the rest of the season. That means that I can sort of, practice really early, and once again going purple on Varsik, so that was good. It was a good purple, and then I just lost it again in the last sector. But going on to what I was saying, maybe I need to spread out my practice throughout the whole week, so just maybe at the weekend. That's one thing I had to go on wide there as well. So that's one thing that we need to improve on. I think that's one thing we can work on. So across the line we go, and it's a 14.7, which is pretty poo, for being honest. A 10 for Varsik, and I could have beaten him. I was purple in both sectors, so yeah, that's really annoying. And that I couldn't go any faster than that. 7th place was where we came in qualifying. If I did probably where Varsik did, if I did like maybe 5th, I could probably could have got 5th place. I do believe I could have done that. But that is it. You just got to live with it. And now for our wet race, Germany. And it's going to start in intermediate conditions. Basically, the race is going to steadily get worse. So we'll go inters, then wets, back to inters, then to dries. So that was the race. I like those sort of conditions. I prefer them more than just a full race, which is completely wet. But I did struggle a lot with the transitional periods between full wet to inters to like option tyres. So here we go for the start here. Running for 5 red lights, and here we go. Lights out, and away we go. We get a pretty average start, not the best, but not the worst. It could have been much worse. And we take the outside line, got Trailer Levolt up our inside, and we let him a little bit of room and get on the curb, and we just lose a little bit of traction there. And he gets lucky alongside us, and we're still in P7, going to try and make something of this. And this is very difficult to start the race. Everyone's new to the conditions, we're not used to them yet, and so everyone's trying to find their way. We're still in 7th place, lots of oversteer there, but luckily I think Taylor had an equally bad exit from that corner as well. But we're still in 7th place right now. Callum and Riley boys are fighting over position along with someone else. It's my midget, and we go to the outside, and there's nowhere else for us to go. We lock up and luckily avoid a collision with Callum, but that means that Taylor gets past us, and he gave us not the best of room, but it wasn't too bad. I didn't lose much time with that. But we're now down to 8th place as a result. That was really my fault. I went too deep into the corner. But look how cautiously everyone's going. There's a massive train of Riley boys, midget, Callum, Taylor Volt, and here is where my race ended. Bang. Yeah. Nice damage model. I mean, I have to say the contact model in this game is spot on. Absolute spot on. I mean, hitting the rear end of the car does actually spin you out in real life, yeah. Yeah, we said that a lot of times. Yeah, so that's us down in 19th place, and that was basically our race ruined, really. And I was very upset with that, and I don't think in the Grand Prix, I don't believe I actually let it go. I did not want to let it go. I actually just... It rang in my head for a very long time, and that's really unfortunate. But by lap 2, we're on Filthy now, and it was just really a battle back through the field again. It was like Hungary, and it was like Silverstone for the third race in the row, being battling for the field. This should be easy and Filthy. It should be, and it's pretty much done already. And then into the break-ins, there we go, into 18th place. So the fight on was on. And let's say I was sort of still quite optimistic. You know, I could see the cars ahead. There's a lot of cars ahead, and I felt that the progression would have been there. So felt quite happy that I had a chance there. But look at this: collisions are flying out everywhere. Genius. Got the midget fighting. Midget's actually gone off. I think he's been turned in by someone. He actually talked to me after the race about that. And he's one driver. He's one of the cleanest drivers I know, and he's had so much bad luck this season. And really, the past 3 races in the AOR GP2, I think I've seen his bad luck, and I think I've had equally some bad luck at that as well. So it's not been the best period for both of us, but obviously apart from Hungary. But now on the Genius, we're all over him, and I'm just going to be fair to him here. There's no point really risking it all on the line. It's lap 2, and I've caught back up again, and then it looked for a little gap there, and lots of oversteer, and he actually oversteered, and I thought initially I hit him, getting caused him to oversteer, and his late oversteer moment was late, so I started weighing up for him here. But yeah, I think he was signaling to me that it wasn't my fault, and I just went on. So so 17th place right now. We lost place again to Filthy, so we'll catch up back up to him again. But lap 4, Nunan Das randomly appears there, and throughout this Grand Prix, he is the guy that we see lagging, coming out of nowhere, and he is one of the guys you'll see throughout this Grand Prix, but not in the best ways. I don't know if it's him with his internet, but I don't know. But here we go, Filthy's gone to the inside, and thwack, end plate off, and I went too deep on that corner. That was my fault. I do feel Das was braking a little bit conservatively. That's fair enough, and then Filthy doesn't give me any room. That's fair play, he's ahead, so he's allowed to do that. And then just having a look at this end plate, it was very difficult. This missing end plate was difficult to get used to. Now I'm up the inside, and he just doesn't really give me much room there. He just forces me off, and that's throughout this race when I was behind him. That's what he was doing, and that was very frustrating. I know he's a car ahead, but you know, that's the way it is. But now, nice cheeky penalty there. Yeah, brilliant. But yeah, definitely for left-hand corners, when you go left-handed corners, struggling with the car, just understeer. But now, yeah, lap 6, everything's sort of settled down, and I did my fast lap of the Grand Prix, which is not the Grand Prix, but of this current period. So yeah, it was actually not doing too bad. I mean, I was steadily getting used to the conditions, but now this is sort of a crossover period to the wet conditions, so people went on to wet tyres. Now Filthy's struggling as well, so you can see actually he's visually struggling ahead as well, so we've got a chance to get back up to him. So this was a crossover period. My engineer was telling me, you know, right now I think we're on the best tyre, so I just kept on going out, and the engineer was actually correct in this race. He was pretty much spot on with the conditions, so I continued on until he thought that the conditions weren't good enough for our tyre. But now right behind Filthy again, how much catch up we had. Actually had in intermediate conditions, we had a really good pace, and the comeback through the field was really much on. There's some obviously when you're in the back of the field, you do struggle with people. Now Filthy's gone deep, and we're up the inside, and I'm there, and yeah, no room. It just doesn't give me anything, and that was frustrating. I've said it earlier, and I'm saying it again. It's just frustrating when people just don't see you there and just think about themselves, not you. And like, I'm quite fair. I mean, Hungary, I was probably quite aggressive, but I felt in Hungary the reason why I was like that was because everyone else was like that, so I had to be like that to have any chance of being up in the points. And I felt that maybe I'm a bit of a pushover in terms of how clean I am, and I felt that now people are going to start having a bit of a piece of their own medicine, in my opinion, because in Hungary, you know, I was aggressive. It's fair enough, I was, but maybe people need to have a bit of a taste of their own medicine to see what they actually do to other people, and I'm starting to get about that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and fight for my points in the most aggressive way possible, and that's not always brilliant, but now right behind him again, and hopefully we get a nice clean exit here, and slipstreaming him, and not the easiest attempts here, but not too bad. And here we go, up the inside, and it's the move done, so that's done as well, so that's pretty awesome. And that is us up into 14th place, so pretty nice move. And I made sure I got this move done this time. I a little bit over there and made sure that he backed out of it, so that's us into P8, and that was really good. Before the pit stops, that was really what we needed to do, and that was that done. So yeah, I was actually really happy, really. I was driving well, I felt really happy. But as I said, I just feel a little bit like not bothered. Like, yeah, that is really my attitude towards this race. After that spin at the beginning of the race, I didn't really let go of what happened, and that was really hard for me to take. But now he's catching up to CMR. I think I can't remember. I can't see his name from my monitor, but yeah, he was really impressive in this race. You'll see him. You'll see him in the results later. But here we come into pit lane for our wet tyres. Decided to box it in. I had them to lose really after the downfall of the race. But into the pits we come for our full wet tyres. And yeah, this should be interesting to see how this all goes. Should be a good pit stop. Actually, we're going to have some front wing change as well. So that's done as well. And yeah, quite a lot of pit stop as you can see. Yeah, full wet tyres, nothing really to lose here. I mean, there's literally nothing to lose. So went for that, and away we go once again. So down into 19th place. Brilliant. By lap 9. So this is where all the transitional pace happens, and by lap 12, people pitted in for some wet tyres as well. And you see a lot of people stood up on the inters because they knew the conditions were going to get better. But I was like, I'm not going to risk it because then I'm just going to put it into the wall. That's really what I felt. I felt that if I did that, I'd put it into the wall and then it would have been all over. But now, you see how much the wet tyres, I mean, the inters runners were equally as quick, pretty much. They weren't losing as much time on the inters as compared to the wets. So I don't know if it's. I think it actually is a common issue with the game where there's no difference between the wet and the inters too much in these conditions. And this is full wet, and now the Genius has gone deep and he's gone off. So, but this is really irritating about this game is that, and in AOR F1 they had the same issue where basically the intermediate tyres would work equally as well in the full wet conditions, even though we have full wet tyres. That makes no sense in the world. So this game is officially pretty much broken, in my opinion. But now it might be because I was inside and he completely slams into New Line Dust. I don't know if he reappeared on this screen. I got a feeling that maybe that happened because it happened to me later on in the Grand Prix. You'll see that happen later. But oh, my idiot, man. I don't know. Oh, but now I'm right behind New Line Dust now, and I think he does struggle in these conditions as well. And look at that. That's fair enough. That I accept. If you're not going to leave me room, at least do it before I'm right alongside you. Good, alright, happy days. But at the instant we go on the end, and this was nice. A bit of wheel banging, but we get the move done, he's gone wide. But I didn't feel that was really my fault. I had the entitlement to that corner, so you know, why not? And now Jaxie goes wide, and here we go. He's gone really wide. We switch to the outside line, and we get the move done into P11. So there you go. The comeback was on into P11, and so far, so good. I felt really good in these conditions. And finally, there was actually a bit of a difference between the wet tyres and the intermediate tyres, so that was good as well. But yeah, I just found that on this game, inters compared to wets, not that different in the full wet conditions. But into the pit we go, and look at that, Jaxie actually got very close to us into pit lane. He actually had a pretty insane entry, so but I was afraid of getting hit. But now instead of intermediates once again, and we're out again. I keep saying again, for God's sake. But back off into the race we go, and we're in 15th place. So far, I have to say the race was going pretty well. The comeback was on. I think points were realistically on as well. So we weren't doing too bad. I was pretty happy with the performance currently. But as the race grew on, I was growing more tired and more tired because of my overworking on practice. I put so much effort into this race, and I pretty much overworked myself. Now 50's gone off as well now, and I get the move done pretty easily into 14th place. So just really I was fighting people who were slower than me, and that's not cool. I mean, I want to be up there with the top guys, but again, it wasn't to be. I mean, it wasn't to be at Silverstone in these conditions, and it wasn't to be here in Germany. That's fair play, but now Genius is sort of slow on his inters. I think he actually stayed out on his inters for the whole stint, and actually didn't wasn't too bad for him actually. But I think he was struggling quite a lot. And look at the catcher we had on our first serve inters. Look on the braking zone, we just closed right up on him. But now we've got a nice exit here. In the slipstream, and he actually was running slightly higher wings than me, because I was in the slipstream with him and I wasn't gaining anything. I suppose I could put it into rich, maybe he was running into rich mix, but fuel consumption wasn't the best in this race. But at the inside we go, and that, I'm pretty proud of that move actually. You know, in these conditions, they're not the easiest ones to pull off, and I was pretty happy. And some of the moves I was making, you know, one thing I can take from this race is that some of the moves that I was making, I was pretty happy with them, and I was enjoying the racing. And a lot of the problems that I had in this race were down to me, like at the beginning, for example, hitting the rear end of Taylor. That was my fault, you know, but then it is a contact model that caused me to have that. But then I should know that, so it is my fault, and there's certain things that I could have done differently as well. Practice, no penalty, hey, corner cuts alert. There's certain things that I could have done differently, like practicing, and having a practice more spread out over a week, and that will help me significantly if I did practice more over a course of a week instead of just banging it right at the weekend. I think I practice from Thursdays and then I have an SRL stream on the Friday, so I don't do any practice on Friday, and I practice 3 times a week. Maybe it's time to spread it over a little bit now as I've got a full-time drive. I can drive this car in practice now, so I can get used to this car even significantly more than I had on other cars. So that's the same, but now Cole actually is now on the soft tyre, so he switched over to, as he's not significantly drier, he switched onto the slick tyres, so we're going to come into the pit lane right now for our slicks. I don't think it was quite time, but I'm guessing he thought there was nothing to lose there for him, and then I'll spin into the pit lane, so that's how dry it was. I didn't brake early enough, you know, and that's another mistake that I made, and my driving really wasn't the best in this race, and that is down to the amount of practice I put in last minute, and I need to make sure I change that for the next races, and hopefully the changes I make will improve things, and improve my results. There's things that I can do to improve, and there's things that other people can do to improve as well, that's my opinion. But we're going to stay in front of Neilus, which is actually important, because we don't really held it by him. That's the least thing we want to do, because obviously he's on the intermediates and we're on the slicks, and we're right behind Bigsy, so that shows again we've made the right call to go on the slicks. But because of our drive-through, because we were noobs, back into pits we go for a drive-through penalty, and then this being behind Bigsy is really important for this race, because you look at the end of the Grand Prix and you think about where I could have finished. If I hooked up the engines, but this period here was the most difficult. It wasn't so much from the wet to the inters, or the inters to the wets. It was more the inters to the slicks. That was the period that I struggled so much to get used to. And here, my drive pace in practice was pretty awesome. I was pretty happy with it. And then here, and Vivi's gone off. Bye. Oh, I think Jaxie went off. And here I just completely lost it. I couldn't get used to the transition. Like, this was very sort of like cloudy, and now another penalty. Lovely. And this was actually very cloudy right now. And I couldn't get used to, like, for some reason I couldn't get used to driving in the dry again from the wet conditions. So this is ridiculous, and considering I was actually doing that a lot in practice. So it's something to work on. The transition phase from the wet conditions to the slick conditions. That's another thing to improve on as well. But lower lap 32 now. This is really the end of the Grand Prix. 13th place. I was there for a long time. And here we go. You see a flying Haas out of nowhere, and New Line Das, and he just randomly goes into the pit lane and he comes back on the track and spin. And that was it. I had enough. I was done. And I didn't ever want to investigate that. I think I might take it and maybe send it to. I might put it as a post on this. I don't know. I might do it. I don't know if it's worth it. But that was it. I returned from the Grand Prix. There's no point continuing on. And that was it, really. Depressing race for us, and that's unfortunate. And that was it for the race. Iscord won the race from Surprise Mare from Miley Boys. That's it. And you see where Bigsy was. He was 9th. I could have pushed in the points, arguably. That's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content on the channel. And I'll see you in another video. Bye, guys.